This is Betsy Jensen, and you are listening to Unstoppable Body and Mind, episode 47, My Word for 2021. In this podcast, we learn to upgrade our brain and understand the power of our thoughts, to heal and to create the results we want in our life. Become the person in control of your healing and make peace with your life. Become unstoppable, body and mind. Hey friends, welcome to the last episode of 2020. I actually started this podcast almost exactly a year ago, January 1st. It was kind of a New Year's Eve pep talk by my friend Eric from yoga that has a podcast. And I had this idea for a podcast for a while. I even knew what the first episode was going to be about. And he said, you can totally do it. You can figure this out. I want it in my inbox by tomorrow. And so I worked the whole next day and watched a bunch of YouTube videos and wrote it and recorded it. And I did it. And it was just the nudge I needed to get going. And I've had so much fun this year doing the podcast. And even though I haven't done it every week, I've been pretty consistent, 47. It's pretty good. I'm happy with that. So I've learned a lot this year. I've started doing the videos with captions. There's been a lot of growth. And speaking of growth, I checked a couple days ago how many downloads my podcast had for the year. 10,000. It was cool. When I checked, it was exactly 10,000 downloads. So thank you all for listening, and thanks for sharing. And I think this is just going to keep growing because this information is so important for people to know. Today, since New Year's is coming up, that's generally a time people are making resolutions, goals, thinking about the next year, maybe trying to forget this year. Just kidding. Looking at the things from this year, that were valuable, that were important. And I thought about talking about that, about writing goals, but what I decided to talk about was my word that I chose for the year as kind of my intention for the year. And I didn't choose a word for 2020, but this is the first year I've chosen a word, but I've heard of other people doing it. The word that I chose is light. And I heard this from a client once, and I'm kind of a word nerd, I told you. And so I like that light has a double meaning. And so light can be not heavy, the lightness of not having things weighing you down. And light could also be the shininess, the brightness. And so I want to work on both of those things this next year. And I think they really go hand in hand. So I think as I continually work this year to find those areas where I might be experiencing some heaviness, some stuckness, some blockages, blocking myself, that I try to have that in mind, that I'm going to try and unweight, let go, kind of not try to control everything, and not try to take a lot of the past along with me. Let it go. So lightness, I also think of as being brighter, shining for other people to see. When I talked about this in the koshas episode, a few episodes back, and it's a yogic principle that we have a light within us, and then we have layers of Maya, which is illusion, on the outside of it. The more we can make those layers transparent through clarification processes, whether it be food or meditating or practices for energy, the more transparent we can be, it lets our light shine out. So I like the idea of, as I reduce that heaviness, becoming lighter in the sense of brighter. And as well, I think of being able to help light up other people. If other people are in darkness, the more that I can let my light shine, the more it's going to help people around me too. I'm going to read some words that other coaches have chosen as their word for the year. If you want examples or inspiration: bold, fire, ease, evolution, flow, expansion, receive, easy, acceptance, sparkles, connect, transformation, balance, courage, nourish, believe, love, creative, equipped, shine, brilliant, courage, resilience, vitality, joy, prosperous, permission. So that's just a few ideas. If you would like to share the word that you've thought of for 2021 and you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, you can comment on it there and check out my group on Facebook, Body and Mind Life Coach. I would love to get a great community there. So if you haven't joined, join my Facebook group where we can all support each other. So the last thing I want you to think about for this coming year is that a lot of times we make our goals and our hopes for the future based on not liking where we are and how we want to be different. So I want you to think about, instead of fighting where you are, like being negative about where you are, wanting it to change, wanting it to be different, I suggest that you try to incorporate activities and plans and even goals around things you enjoy. So it's maybe not as much, I want to avoid doing these things, but what do I want to do? Try not to think about what you should do to be a better person. That already starts from the place of you not being a good enough person. This kind of goal, I want you to just think about something that you want to do because it's fun for you. Sometimes when we're trying to make these changes, we're changing our thoughts and beliefs. It's like digging a hole in sand. And as you're digging it, sand kind of starts filling back in. But if you can replace it with something, if you can put a bucket or something else in there that's solid, if you can put positive things in its place, instead of just digging out the negative, resisting the things that we don't want, then we're putting in more of the things that we do want. So make a joy list. Think of the things that really light you up, that fire you up, that make you alive, that energize you, that bring joy to you. And by doing that, it brings joy to the people around you. Please take that time, make a list, think of little things you can do throughout your day to bring a little more joy to your life. And if you've been enjoying this podcast and you haven't yet given it a rating or review, please check the show notes, go over to iTunes, and you can leave a rating and review there. The more people talk about it and rate it and review it, it helps it get found by more people. So let's spread the word, spread the love, spread the light. Happy New Year. See you next year. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you learned a little bit about your brain today that helps you in your life like it helped me. Please be sure and subscribe and leave a review. And of course, be sure and share this podcast with someone you know that wants an unstoppable body and mind.